Hi, I'm Cindy Morris, your host of Priestess Entrepreneur Kitchen Table Conversations. It's a really exciting time on the planet right now. We're seeing this huge shift to a time when women's voices are being heard more strongly. And one area that we're really seeing women step up is in the world of business and entrepreneurship. Women seem to do business a little differently than men do, and they need a lot of support. And the way that women get support really is from each other. And this forum is created for women to talk about their experiences in business and to share with one another the challenges and the triumphs of their times in business. In this video, you'll see a few snippets of some of the interviews that I have done on Priestess Entrepreneur Kitchen Table Conversations. I have already interviewed 25 women, and I thought that these really highlighted some of the women in the Boulder community, all the way from women who had very high-powered positions in a male-dominated industry to the head of the Boulder YWCA, and women who are independent entrepreneurs.
The civil rights movement, the women's movement, and the gay movement all came out of the late 1960s and what we were able to do as a generation that said it's time to change. And I was a part of that.
And you know, here we are in 2010, very similar issues on the table still and again. And I just heard Timothy Geithner on NPR the other day say, we need more women in positions of power, in finance, in politics, in decision-making roles. So here we are all these years later, and we still don't have enough women doing this. But
step by step.
I was thinking this morning about where are we? You know, what is the context for what's happening in the world? And I believe the world is changing and
drastically.
And I want to be part of that. And you want to be part of it.
I do.
I think of this show. I think of there's a Feminine Power webinar weekly where 50,000 women have signed up, and they're changing their lives. You know, and listening to people who are experts in science and entertainment and all different fields. And I think I've been feeling that energy in myself in my transition from a more kind of regular world into the creative world.
And a very male world.
Very much, very much. So
Tell us about your job, though. What did you do? Because it's significant.
For 25 years, I worked in planning transportation and housing developments. But the price you pay for that work is that most of the people you work with are men.
Yes.
The engineers, the architects.
Is that a heavy price to pay?
It has been at times. At times, of course, it's also pleasant. Yes, you know, the male part of the species can be quite wonderful as well, as we know. But in a work setting, yes, you know, the work settings that I found myself in, particularly construction, particularly design, even lending and lawyering at that time were really, really heavily dominated by men. So it was a big challenge for me to figure out.
What were some of the challenges? Communication?
Communication was a big challenge.
Let's say someone comes to you and they're like, I just want to feel better about how I present myself. What kind of work do you do with women?
Thank you for bringing that up, because my tagline is feel good, look good, do good. You need to feel good in order to look good. It's not the other way around. So I help the woman feel good by listening to her. What does she like?
Right.
What does her life consist of? How does she treat herself, if she does at all?
Oh, this is so important. This is such an important thing.
We can't put ourselves 10th on the list.
Or not on the list
Or
at
not
all.
on the list at all.
Not on the list at all is what I hear. Too much.
Too much. And there is power in beauty.
Yes.
If you allow yourself time and put yourself number one on the list, you're going to empower yourself because you're recognizing your own beauty.
Let's talk about something I think is really, really important, and that's that women tend to compare themselves to others, like women they see in magazines or actresses. And in my understanding, I always see, you know, I worked in the flower business for years.
Right.
And so when you go to the wholesaler and you look all the flowers, well, there isn't one more beautiful than the other. They're all beautiful because they're unique in their beauty.
It's a perfect analogy.
And so for women, it's that way too. So how do you help a woman who says, but you know, here's a classic, you know, my thighs are too fat. Okay, that's a classic one. My thighs are too fat. Normal size thighs. My thighs are too fat. How do you help someone with, that's a very common complaint.
I find that women will look in the mirror and only target the negative. And it's not that it's that negative. They think of it as negative.
Right.
Too many wrinkles, the whole
Right.
thing, the gray
Right.
hair or whatever.
Right.
And we need to, all of us, look at our positive, because we bring to us what we focus on. What we put our attention on, we create.
Thank you so much for checking out my videos of some of the fantastic women entrepreneurs that are blossoming forth in these most amazing times on our planet. I hope that I get a chance to chat with you more about seeing if I can bring this vision of mine to a much bigger arena and talk with women all over the country about their experiences in business and how we as women can empower ourselves and our world by stepping up into our business entrepreneurship. Thanks so much for your interest in empowering women in business and the business of life. You can reach me through my website at priestesstv.com. My name is Cindy Morris, the host of Priestess Entrepreneur Kitchen Table Conversations.